Hello, nerds. Thank you for watching Generally Nerdy. This is the week in Nerdom, and things are changing. This is your week in Generally Nerdy. It would seem, nerds, that I have bit off a little bit more than I could chew, because in order to do 5 episodes a week, research, film, everything involved with doing those videos, and then still try and do other nerdy videos and enjoy and get stuff done to do reviews, so consume the content, the movies, comic books, what have you, to do that and also work a regular job really is quite difficult, I'm not gonna lie. So the format that we started at the beginning of the year is no more, and we're changing formats, and now we're going to be doing the Week in Nerddom 2 times a week instead of 5 times a week. So it will be much more similar to the headlines shows that I do on the syndicated side of things, so what I do for the Big Show Entertainment Network, as well as Comic Talk Headlines. All of that is going to be a lot more similar, though there is still going to be more headlines here on Generally Nerdy. You're gonna notice some overlap, but that will free up some time so that I can get a proper third video out each week. That will likely be reviews, and then potentially even a 4th video that will be one of the other series that we do, Adventures in Photography, How to YouTube, How to Comic-Con, something along those lines. That will be the 4th video of the week. And then 4 weeks that we do like a convention or whatever, those likely will be for sure 4 videos, possibly even 5 videos, but I'm not gonna hold that standard at all. So if it happens, awesome. If it doesn't, then it doesn't. The last week of the month, though, we are still going to be doing the one live show, so if you are in the northern Colorado area and you want to join, then you can follow me on Facebook, facebook.com/generallynerdy, or at Generally Nerdy, I guess is probably the proper way to promote that. You can go check that out. I always post those flyers up there so you know where and what time. So check out the live show at the end of the month every month, and that's where things are sitting. Let's jump into the news. First piece of news we have for this episode comes from the Facebook account for the Vampire Chronicles TV series. Wow, that's a lot of words that just fell out of my face. The series is set to premiere later this year, though a proper release date has not been announced. It is set to premiere later this year on the Paramount Network, formerly Spike, as well as on Hulu. And the Facebook, they just announced that Dee Williams has been brought on to be showrunner and executive producer. If her name does not sound familiar to you, it's because you might not watch as many of the, quote, normie stuff, because her other television credits include ER, Southland, and Nashville, amongst others. Next, we're talking Star Wars on Disney+, and Alan Tudyk did an interview recently with comicbook.com in which they asked him about the Cassain Andor series, which is going to be the prequel series for Rogue One that will find its way onto Disney+, very likely in 2020, though, again, a release date has not been announced for this one either. In the interview, though, with Tudyk, when they asked him about the series directly and whether or not K2SO is going to make an appearance, he kind of danced around the question and was very indirect and cautious when talking about it, which leads one to believe that maybe that is actually going to be a thing that happens, which makes sense because it's a prequel and K2SO is in this area at the time, and he's a fan favorite, so it absolutely just makes sense to be happening. Next is a quickie update from USA Networks. They just put in a 10-episode straight-to-series order for A Brave New World, the Aldus Huxley book that we were all forced to read in high school. THR is reporting that Spider-Man Homecoming producer David Wiener will be the executive producer, and joining him in that capacity, we have a really interesting list of people. Grant Morrison, Brian Taylor, Owen Harris, Darryl Frank, and Justin Falvey are joining him there. And our final TV piece comes from Netflix for this episode, guys, and this is the inevitable one we knew was coming. Netflix has officially canceled Jessica Jones and the Punisher. Jessica Jones' third season has not yet made it up onto the platform. It will still go up. They are still in production on that season. So that is still happening, though we will not be getting a third season out of The Punisher like we had hoped. Kicking over to movie news, we have two more Star Wars updates, the first of which has to do with Rian Johnson and his trilogy. Rian took to Twitter earlier to dispel any rumors that he has stepped away from the project in order to focus on other things. He absolutely is still going to be directing a new Star Wars trilogy. And then the second bit comes from J.J. Abrams himself. According to his Instagram, principal photography has wrapped on episode 9, which seems to be cutting it a little bit close if they want to release it this December 20th. Staying with the quickie mindset, we have another Dune update, hot off the tails of last week's casting announcements. We have a release date for the movie. November 20th of 2020 is the planned release date for Denis Villeneuve's Dune. And the Bumblebee debate has finally come to an end. Is it a reboot? Is it not a reboot? Is it something? Did they just mess up their own canon? Well, apparently it is a reboot. According to Hasbro, who had a panel at the New York Toy Fair this past week, they said that Bumblebee is set in, quote, a new storytelling universe, unquote. Hasbro also, in that same panel discussion, might have leaked the release date for New Mutants. They had a graphic during their presentation that had movie release dates, the Marvel movie release dates specifically, and the release date that they had listed was September 2nd, which is interesting because the last official announced release date was August 2nd. September 2nd is a Monday, which might confirm the rumor that New Mutants is going to be released through a streaming application. Or it could just be a typo. Another update from our last episode comes from Forbes. They are stepping back their statements a little bit that Harley will absolutely be in the next Suicide Squad movie that James Gunn is directing. The only other cast member to be returning for the Suicide Squad movie potentially is going to be Will Smith, because in his original contract, he was signed on for 2 movies. Apparently, the only other person that was signed on for multiple movies was Margot Robbie. And get those salt shakers ready because we have a Batman rumor to address. This one comes from Revenge of the Fans. They're reporting that they have exclusive knowledge that Warner Brothers is in final negotiations for a contract to get Armie Hammer under the cape and cowl for Matt Reeves' next Batman movie. And shortly after they made such an announcement, THR lead reporter Boris Kitt took to Twitter to dispel it as merely rumor, saying that his sources over at Warner Brothers are telling him that there are no actors in any sort of contract negotiations just yet, though they do have their eyes set on a few. In gaming, we have a quick update on Apex Legends. It seems that Week 8 might just be a magic week for the game, which actually, if these rumors are true, will very potentially increase our nearly perfect score from last week's review. Now, the rumors come from data miners, as they usually do when we're talking about video games, and they're saying that in Week 8, we will not only be getting a new game mode, but we're very potentially going to be seeing 2 new legends. And then our last bit of news for this update, guys, has to do with comic books, and it's about Batman and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. The third installment in the series has just been announced by DC, Nickelodeon, and IDW. The next arc is going to be 6 issues long. It is still being written by James Tynion IV and art by Freddie Williams II, just like the previous 2 iterations. The book should start hitting shelves May 1st of this year. And that is the end of our first show in the new format, guys. Thank you very much for watching all the way to the end. What did I miss? What should we talk about next week? Let me know in the comments down low. If, though, you want to go deeper into the conversation, then check out the website, generallynerdy.net, or the Patreon, patreon.com/generallynerdy. You can get all of the extra wonderful bits over there. If you're new here, please subscribe. If you are falling behind on your nerd news and you want to catch up, then you can click or tap that box right there to the left of my face to do that. But before we do any of the other stuff and visit websites and all that jazz, guys, always remember that if it's generally nerdy, it's probably here.